Hi, my name is Dr. Payal. I'm a postdoc researcher in Germany. I finished my PhD end of 2024 and I started it in October 2020. So let me tell you the story of how I came to Germany for doing my PhD. I did my bachelor's in zoology from Miranda House, Delhi University. After my second semester, I found out about a summer internship program at my college. I thought it would be a good utilization of my time, so I decided to apply for it. And during my whole summer break, I went to the college and worked on a project. It was about metagenomics. I did not know a lot of techniques that we were applying there, so my professors that were there, they actually trained us, taught us, and then made us confident in doing some things, which also eventually helped me later on during my second and third year of bachelor's, because since I have done those things already during internship, it was a bit more easier and I was a bit more confident in doing those things later on for my practicals. During my whole bachelor's, after my first year, I kept working on that project on the side. So whenever I had some free time during my semester or after my semester, I was working on that project. It did not lead into any publication or anything, but it definitely adds up experience on my CV. Then during my master's, I learned about this summer fellowship program from IMSA, where you need to write a research proposal and you apply for it, and then you can get a summer internship which will actually be paid by the government at any lab all over India. Okay, so I was planning to actually go to Bangalore. So I applied. So I kind of tailored my research proposal such that I can get a lab in Bangalore. But destiny had something else in mind. So when the results came, I actually got the summer internship program, but actually at IIT Guwahati. I was like, okay, that's good. At least I got selected. But then I realized that it's not something that I wanted to work on, because it was about a nanoparticles project in a chemistry department, although I have background of biology. So at that point, I had two choices. Either just let it be. Don't go for it. It's not related to the work or the things that I work on. It's not even my field. It's a chemistry lab. So maybe it's not worth it and I should not go. The other choice that I had was that even if it's not directly related to what I have studied or I have worked on, but it could be a good experience. You know, it's a paid internship at IIT Guwahati. I've never been to any IIT. It would be something that would look good on my CV. So I decided to go for it. Thankfully, my parents also agreed to send me to IIT Guwahati, and it was a really good experience. That was the first time when I lived in a hostel at an IIT, experienced IIT, and it was a very good experience. All the PhDs that I met in the lab were really helpful, really sweet, and also the professor that I did the internship with helped me in coming up with a project that would be not very different or very difficult to work on. So I worked on synthesizing some nanoparticles with one of the PhD in the lab and then tested amount of iron in different water. And it was a colorimetric assay. So with more amounts of iron in the water, there will be more color that we will be getting using the nanoparticles. Okay, so that internship experience was great. Another thing that I was focusing on during my master's was to crack the CSIR NET JRF. So in my first attempt, it was after my first semester, I did not really prepare for it. I just wanted to get some experience of how the exam looked like and how would it go. So I did not crack it in the first time. And my second time was when I was at IIT Guwahati. So I was already busy with the summer internship, but I had decided in my mind that this is the time I have to crack it. And then on the side, I was preparing for the NET JRF. Also during my whole second semester, I was preparing for it on the side. And then I think I got really lucky. I cracked it on the second time. So along with the internship, I prepared for it and eventually also cracked it that time. So at least I would say one of the things got sorted earlier, and then that gave me the confidence that I can do more things. Third semester came, and then in the fourth semester we had the thesis, which was not a real thesis. It was more like a review thesis where you would select a topic and you would read some paper and like write a review about it, maybe 20, 30, 40 pages. Okay. Along with that, I was preparing for GATE exam, and I also cleared GATE exam then during my fourth semester. So by the time I finished my master's, I had both NET JRF and GATE cleared. So that was a relief, but I was not sure of if I want to do a PhD and if I want to do it from India or from abroad. So I did not know about it, how to go abroad, how to apply for it, how to find positions. I did not have much clue. So what I did was, instead of directly joining a PhD in India, I decided to join a lab at Department of Zoology, Delhi University, and I started working on a project in that lab. Initially, it was like, it's a training position, you're not going to be paid, but you can come to the lab and learn things and work on the project. And I was okay, also kind of happy with it that I got this opportunity. And later on, since I was working there, the professor eventually also found a position for me. Since I had cleared NET JRF, he offered me a research assistant position as a JRF in the lab. So I think from second month onwards, I was getting paid like a PhD would get paid, but it was not a PhD position. It was more like a research assistant position. So I started working in the lab. I was gaining research experience. I was gaining more confidence. I started to Google some things about, let's just Google what are some of the famous universities or like institutions that I know about, and let's see when would their PhD applications be open. So what happened was, I was making a list of some universities in the US, and then I found out about Max Planck Institutes in Germany. So I looked for all the Max Plancks that are out there, shortlist how many of them would be from my field, because they also have for chemistry, for physics and other things. So I was looking for biology, and something related to microbiology would be great because that's what I have experience in. So I was just making a list of it. Then eventually I found one application where they asked for GATE score. I was like, I have GATE score. That would be a right position to apply for. So I applied for a couple of positions. One of them was the position in Tübingen where I eventually came for my PhD. So what happened was I applied for it, and like 2 weeks later, COVID lockdown happened. So I had to come back home. I did not tell anybody at my home that I had applied for PhD in Germany, because I was like, I'm not going to get it. Like, I don't want to increase expectations of people. So let's just keep it low. And even if I apply for it, I don't need to tell anybody about it. Then comes one evening at my home, and I got a mail that you have been selected for the next round of interview and your application was good. And I was like, okay, that's good. It's possible, okay? If I cross the first round, maybe I can go further ahead and maybe I can get this position. So I got really hopeful, okay? I told my family about it. I told my parents about it. They were a bit skeptical in the beginning because they were like, you would go abroad? You think we will let you go abroad? And I was like, forget about it. Let me just get the position first, and you will let me go there or not. We will discuss that later on. Okay, so then I told my professor about it, that I cleared the first round, I have an interview. So PhDs from the lab helped me prepare a presentation of the project that I was working on after my master's, and then the interview happened. On the day of interview, you will not believe what happened. My Wi-Fi did not work. And since my Wi-Fi did not work, I had a 15-minute slot where I was supposed to give a presentation and a question answers round. That did not happen. And I was like, oh God, I had this one chance where I was hoping maybe, fingers crossed, this will work out. But can you believe that the Wi-Fi did not work and I missed my chance. And I was like, oh shit, this cannot be happening. And then they sent me a mail. They were really sweet, I have to say. I did not expect it, but they sent me a mail like within 15 minutes that it's okay, we can understand these technical issues, and guess what? We are giving you another chance tomorrow. Please be at some place where you can find Wi-Fi, or the other option is that you send me the presentation and you give the presentation on call if like you don't have enough internet to do a Zoom meeting or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's really sweet of you. I will try to arrange Wi-Fi for tomorrow. The next day came. I asked around my neighborhood and I found that just right in front of my house, my neighbors have Wi-Fi. They were really sweet. They offered me their Wi-Fi and a room in which I can sit and give my interview. I went there. I gave my presentation. It was really good. Okay, they asked me questions for almost 10 minutes. I tried to answer most of them. A few of them I could not answer, but I was happy to accept that I'm sorry, I don't know about it, but I will read more about it. And then I was thinking, okay, it did not go too bad, but I don't know if that's good enough. And then a few minutes later, I got a mail that your presentation was good, your interview was good, and you have been selected for the next round of interview where you will have one-on-one interview with the professors of your choice. Okay. So then we were supposed to select professors whose project or like whose work aligned with my experience. And I also needed to think like, if I like them, they should also like me and take me. So I chose 2 professors. They were also happy to have one-on-one interview with me. So then the following day, I had 2 interviews with those 2 professors. And they asked me which one of them would be my preference, and I honestly told them, okay, that you're my first preference and you're my second preference. And they both liked me. The second professor also kind of tried to convince me if she can be my first preference, and I was like, I'm sorry, but that project is more aligned to the things that I've worked on, so I would like to stick to my choices. Okay. Then I also sent a mail to my professor whose lab I was working in to ask about his opinion on which professor I should take. And he also agrees to the choice that I had made, that the professor I was choosing to be my first choice is the right choice. Okay, so then I was supposed to get a mail from them if both professors liked me or like if any one of them wants me as their PhD student. So I think a couple of days later, I got a mail that you have been selected as a PhD candidate in XY lab. And I was so happy. I was so relieved. I was like, mission accomplished. Even if it's COVID lockdown, nothing is happening around me. But I'm glad that I've secured a PhD position in Germany. Then starts the next phase of preparing myself to come to Germany, because it was back in 2020. Due to COVID lockdown, visa, everything was closed. I was not even going to the lab anymore. I was just at home. I was working from home on some review work or some other things. And then eventually I talked to my professor, like, when do you expect me to start? And he was like, we can understand, it's COVID time. We don't know when things will open, but whenever they will open, you can come here and start your PhD. So that was really sweet of him. So it was a Max Planck position, but my professor was working at university. So Max Planck people helped me really with the visa, with my accommodation, how will I come here, with everything. Anything you can think of, they really helped me with it. So they were sending me some papers about my visa, and then they were also kind of asking me every now and then, when will the visa open, do you have any idea? And then I think mid-August visa opened, and I was lucky enough to secure a visa appointment like within 2-3 days of the visa centers opening. So I went there, I applied for visa, I had all the documents ready because people from Germany were sending me a lot of documents for my application. And then I think within 2 weeks or 10 days maybe, I got my visa. I think beginning of September I got my visa, and then 10-15 days later I booked my tickets. On 15th of September 2020 I came to Germany. Then after coming here, since it was COVID times, I was supposed to do quarantine for almost a week. And after that, I went to the lab. I met the people whom I had only seen on a Zoom meeting. I signed my contract, and then from 1st of October 2020, I started my PhD. So this was the journey of how I started my PhD in Germany. It has been a really great journey. After completing my PhD, I am now continuing as a postdoc here, and let's see what lies in the future. So if you like the story, if you have any question about any of these parts, please comment them down below or write me on DM on Instagram. Subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.